everybody. Henny gang up in here. I haven't said that in a minute. What's popping to the Henny gang? So y'all know that I have been in court and I have caught Mr. Deonte Nash. Okay? The ending of it. I caught Mr. Deonte Nash. I also caught the beginning of Mia. Mia is not who any of us thought it was. Dun, dun, dun. But I also told y'all that it was not going to be KK. Dun, dun, dun. So anybody who was banking on it being KK, remember when we did the poll and everybody was saying, oh, we think that Mia is KK. It was not KK, guys. That's why I do the polls to see where y'all are at. Y'all tell me what y'all think by taking the polls. But it was not KK. Mia is somebody completely different that nobody saw coming. Because we were all looking in the courtroom like, now let me let y'all know right now. If you're looking for a sketch of Mia, you ain't gonna get it. You're not gonna get it, all right? You're not gonna get it because the judge already ordered that nobody is to take any sketches of her at all because she's actually testifying and it's supposed to be anonymous. Only we know who she is, who were in the court. So y'all that were not in the court, y'all are not gonna be able to see who she is, but that don't mean that's gonna stop people from trying to figure out who she is, because you know somebody gonna find out who she is and leak it. I'm just saying that's how this thing goes on social media. You stepped out in the public and people know what you look like, and you gave a description of where you used to work, who you used to work for, and it's only a matter of time before somebody finds it. What's popping, everybody that is stepping up in here? So, child, let me hurry up and get this to y'all because in a minute they're getting ready to come out for lunch, and I want to make sure that I get the family for y'all today while I stand next to Uda, because y'all know that I don't do that every day. That is a Uda thing. Uda gets them going in, Uda gets them coming out, Uda gets all the crispy. I catch them when I catch them. So if you want to see what they're doing every day, you got to go over there to Uda on go, because he got it. He got it every day. He got it. I get it for you when I get it for you. I'm more so in the courtroom. Uda is outside. If we were a news network, he would be the cameraman.
I'm gonna have to update her. I mean, it ain't moving fast. Don't worry, y'all. I'm gonna send her the video. Make sure she updates y'all because this ain't moving too fast.
Listen, if we were an actual news station, Uda would be the cameraman outside on go, and I would be inside getting all the info. You feel me?
Outside, bro.
But okay, first of all, let me tell y'all. Diddy age came out. He's 12 years older. Been sued in trafficking case in 1972. I don't know about that one, beauty queen. They said Uda looking sharp always. Uda always doing his thing out here. Me, I'm casual. You know, I tried to get crude today. I was going to get crude today and put on a little something. But it's looking rainy and it's feeling real chilly out here. It's really chilly. Hello. Oh, look at you all dressed up in yourself. Ow! What the?
Tell me how you stepping when you
Oh.
Let me get the weapon off of me stepping.
Wait a minute.
Right here. Yeah. He got a client.
And I don't know why. That one does it.
Yeah.
He's standing right there. I comes through.
All of a sudden,
Stepping as you do.
Who do I see? He goes like this, but I'm telling you.
Gotta get a head to toe. Are y'all checking that? Are you checking that? Yes. Now that is a sugar daddy. You feel me?
I did like this. I said, let me go see my man who's rallying, which is you. And I said, you be out there.
Your hair match your shirt. It does. No, they say my hair matches my shirt.
I'm in the cut. No, I'm in the cut.
Y'all got all.
They up there, man.
Yeah, but them don't be the sugar daddies that be approaching us. Now do it, ladies. Them don't be the sugar daddies. It always be the ones that looking like Jerome. You know what I'm saying? Craziness. So, you know, let's get over here. And let's get to where we're going to get to so that I can give y'all what I'm about to give y'all, because I got to give it to y'all. Okay? I got to give it to y'all. So we're going to go over here where it's a little quieter. All right? Guess who I met today? I met Miss Pleasant. Ha ha! I feel special. Maybe we'll get Miss Pleasant to jump on here and say a few things. But now let me give it to y'all about what was going on up in that courtroom, child. So Deonte faced off with Donaldson today, full on, all morning, going back and forth. But let me tell y'all about the prosecution. I mean, not the prosecution, the defense. The defense is really, really doing a crap job. Okay. L, major, major L. All the defense is trying to do is to go after people's credibility. They're not even bothering to try to align anything up, or I guess we'll see what they're really all about when they get their witnesses up on the stand. Because when they tried to cross-examine Deonte was ready. And baby, when I tell you that he did not come to play, oh, he came to serve, and he was serving. And he was like, oh, girl, no. Oh, no, boo, that's not how that works. Okay, so let's get into it. First of all, Deonte, if you was on the live earlier today, then you saw what Deonte came sashaying up into the courthouse with. He was serving looks, okay? From the jeans to the jacket to the purse he was carrying, it was all European, okay? It was giving. It was giving. All right. Now let me put my pen in my pocket because I'll be losing them. All right. And let's go to the notes. Now, y'all know if I got to go to the notes. Oh, before we get into that, let's get into all of the stuff that was going down when it was going down when they first came into court. Because remember, I told y'all that they had to make a ruling on whether or not they was going to put Dr. Dawn Hughes's testimony, if it was going to be stricken from the record. Judge Iran said no. It will not be stricken, okay? The motion was denied for striking her testimony because she was within the scope of everything that they had already talked about in the pre-trial, okay? So they did not get that, all right? They did not get that. Now, when it came down to Mia doing her testimony, apparently this lady was scrapbooking her experience while she was working with Diddy, and the defense wanted the scrapbook brought into play so that they could give it to the jury. But the government was like, no, you're not going to bring that scrapbook into play because there's a lot of stuff that has nothing to do with this case. What was caught up in there was Biggie Smalls unaliving and the things that Diddy has said in articles about the government. He was talking about the government in some of his interviews, and the government was like, this is going to bring a whole lot of hearsay into the case, and it's going to confuse the jury. So no, that is not going into the record. And guess what? The judge agreed that no, it should not be going into the record to be passed around to the jury members, because even if you're giving it to them for them to see how meticulously and how much care, meticulously she kept the records and how much care and dedication she put into putting this scrapbook together, the things that are on there are the things that will confuse the jury and start bringing other things into this case that are not into this case. Remember, I told y'all that I was not going to be speaking about any of the unalivings. I was not going to be speaking about any of the Usher, Justin Bieber, none of that stuff, okay? Because none of that stuff has actually been brought up in this trial. So I don't want to confuse you guys. That's the same thing that the court was basically saying. So the scrapbook, they said he could go and he could show it to them to say, see how neatly she kept it and meticulously, but they wanted to pass it around and give it to them. And the government's like, no, because they can still look at it. Like they was really trying to push this in there. And no, Judge Iran was not having it. All right. So when we get Deonte up on there, and they was trying to bring like social media threads into it, but you know how social media threads go. You get some things that are fact, you get some things that are not fact. You get some things that are, nothing to do with what is going on. And so they basically was like, no, we're not bringing that into court. But nice try to the defense. Anyway, so one of the things that Donaldson was trying to definitely keep hold of, and remember, I'm not going to really give y'all everything, but I'm going to give y'all enough to feed y'all till I get home later. All right. All right. So once again, Donaldson asked Deonte how he was doing, and he answered per usual, blessed. Okay. When they started getting into it, the thing that Donaldson was harping on the most was the fact that yesterday during his direct questioning examination from the government, he said that Cassie had told him that she did not want to go to the hotels and that Diddy on her 29th birthday was trying to get her to leave to go do a freak off on her birthday. On her birthday, he was trying to get her to do a freak off. So Donaldson was like, well, yesterday when you were underneath direct, you had testified to the fact that Cassie didn't want to go to the hotels. So he starts pulling up all these different instances of when Cassie was in a hotel. And it's like, for me sitting there watching that, I'm like, bro, we get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. Okay. So let's see where we're going to start off with. All right. So Donaldson said that Deonte had never brought up until he got to court. No. All right. They went into Cassie's look. And when Capricorn Clark was on the stand, they were talking about when Cassie's hair was dyed green and she was going to the MTV Awards. Capricorn has said that she had come up with that look, but Deonte said that was a collaborative look, that wasn't just something that was just thought up on Cassie's own, that it was something that they all came up with. He also revealed that he and Cassie have been BFFs from 2009 until now. Okay. And so he speaks with Cassie almost every day. Then Donaldson asked, let's back up a second. Okay. The Last Word Project was in 2008. All right. With Capricorn, he asked a lot of questions about Capricorn Clark. Okay, like when Capricorn Clark was working there, did he ever work with Capricorn Clark? So Capricorn Clark was kind of there, but not really there when he was there. But he basically worked with Cassie, and he said from 2004 to 2015. Train to New York. That's when that look was come up with, and that when Capricorn came back in 2016, Capricorn was not back for a long time. She was only there for a short period. She only worked on the King of Hearts video for Cassie, and that was it. All right. Then Donaldson brought up the incident where Cassie got gashed in the head. Remember, I told y'all about that. I'm going to see if I can get that photo for y'all and see if I kind of edit it and show it to y'all. But there was a photo, and maybe it might be on some of the major news outlets, where Cassie had a gash right above her eyebrow. And that came from Diddy pushing her, and she fell and hit her head onto the bedroom. Now, remember yesterday I told y'all about how he testified to the fact that Cassie had gotten this gash on her head, and she was gushing blood out of the gash. Yet he continued to punch and kick on her while she was bleeding out. Okay. So Donaldson, let me move over here for y'all, because I really don't like having people all around me, like walking behind my back. I don't like that. Sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Y'all just bear with me. Hold on. I'm sorry. All right. So he brought that back up, right? And he said that Diddy kept kicking Cassie even after she was bleeding, and that this incident is where Deonte and Mia, who is on the stand testifying right now, they jumped in to help Cassie. And Donaldson says that Deonte didn't mention anything about the kicking when he was being questioned by the government. But Deonte said, well, they didn't ask me about that. He was like, he was being very limited about what he said to them. And he said this multiple times to Donaldson when he tried to catch him out there about things that he didn't say to the government that he said now that he's in court. But, okay, then he established how Deonte and Cassie have been friends from 2009 to now, and that they speak almost every day. Cassie and Diddy were broken up. Okay, so he goes on to ask Deonte about Kid Cudi. Okay, he asked him if he knew Kid Cudi. He said he didn't know Kid Cudi, but then he was like, "Oh, but you did know that Cassie and Diddy, they were still dating while she was dating Kid Cudi." And he was like, "No, boo, that's not how that went." And that's exactly how he said it. "No, boo, that's not how that went." He said, "Actually, they were broken up." They were not together. Okay. They also went on to ask him about the Revolt conference that happened in 2011. Right now, in 2011, Diddy had a Revolt conference in Miami, and Cassie was over there in South Africa filming Honey. During this time, this is where they bring up Michael B. Jordan. Y'all get y'all Henny glasses and get ready for this, baby, because it's about to be a full on. So now, check it. This is what happened, y'all. So in 2011, when Diddy was at his Revolt conference that he was having down there in Miami, guess who he had on his arm at the Revolt? Gina. While Cassie was over in Africa working, and while Donaldson was trying to say, oh, well, in order for her to go do that movie, she was still under contract with Bad Boy. So Bad Boy had to approve her going to go out there to South Africa in order to film this movie, correct? So he was like, correct. And he was like, yeah. So, during this time, how did she end up meeting Michael B. Jordan, right? So this is where things get kooky, y'all. So now, boom, how Cassie found out that Diddy was down in Miami with Gina at the Revolt conference was not because Deonte called her. Oh, no, no, no. It was a whole nother stylist that called her and was like, hey, girl, you look good getting out of the car last night. Cassie's like, that wasn't me. So she calls Deonte. And that's what she was like, oh, he got that down there in Miami with him while I'm over here in South Africa. I'm tired of him ruining my career, embarrassing me, and making me look bad by showing up in public with this girl. So guess what happened? Deonte introduced her to Michael B. Jordan. And Mia took it on home by giving Cassie Michael B. Jordan's number. Child, child, child. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Child. So now Donaldson, he's like, oh, so you guys were like pushing for the breakup between Cassie and Diddy. And he's like, oh no, that's not how that went. They were already broken up. When she found out about him being down there, when she found out about Diddy being down there in Miami with Gina at the Revolt conference, she was like, eh, mm. So now Deonte was like, she was single, he was single, they look cute. Why not? Why not? And that's how that went, honey. Your mama ran through like a track meet. Anyway, so Donaldson was like trying to impress upon the fact that, like, oh, Cassie was upset, Cassie was bothered. So Deonte said she wasn't pressed about Gina. In the beginning, it was more so about the fact that every time that Diddy went, thank you for the stickers, guys. In the beginning, she was more so upset about the fact that he would do this and it would embarrass her, okay? And it would look bad on her. It would look bad on her that he was stepping out with another female. But then after a while, Cassie wasn't even bothered by Gina anymore. It was just like, why does he keep trying to embarrass me like this? You know what I'm saying? So now Donaldson tried to get into her little dirty secrets and went and asked Deonte about Andre Branch. So he's like, Deonte was like, who? He's like, Andre Branch. So Deonte goes, oh, the cute little football player. Yeah. So Deonte was asked if he was aware of this in 2017. Hold on. So Deonte was asked if he was aware that Cassie was dating this guy or having a relationship with this guy in 2017. So Deonte was like, well, that was just a getting to know you thing. And it was the same thing with Michael B. Jordan. There was no relationship. They were just playing this getting to know you thing, talking on the phone and all of that, right? So now then he asked him about 2016 if he knew about Brandon while Capricorn was working, and Deonte said no, he didn't know anything about no Brandon. Now I'm going to tell you what I believe is happening here. I believe Diddy is sitting back and giving these people this information. I absolutely do. He's giving them this information, and I believe that they are doing the defense the way that Diddy wants them to do the defense, because none of this has anything to do with it. What are you showing? What are you showing? He was stepping out. He was seeing somebody else. She was stepping out. She was seeing somebody else. But somehow they always ended up getting back together, right? So then they started showing a text chain between Deonte and Cassie. And Deonte said Cassie was not that pressed about Gina. He emphasized this, that she was not that pressed about Gina, that it was just about her career, right? So Donaldson is showing that Cassie had said that she was going out to do her because he was seeing other people, right? So Deonte was just like agreeing, like, yeah, that's what she was doing. He was doing him. She was going to go and do her, right? Donaldson said, Deonte said that yesterday Cassie didn't want to go to the hotel, right? And he showed a text thread. And Cassie says to Deonte that things were that she was going out of town, right? So he brought up the fact that they were having this text message, and Cassie was talking about how she was going out of town. So Deonte's like, well, where are you going? So she says on a secret trip. So now Donaldson was trying to press the issue of this secret trip and make it seem like she was trying to dip off to do a freak off, but that's not what that was about, honey. So that got shut the hell down by Deonte. Hold on one second. Let me grab my book. Because my book done fell over, y'all. Okay? All right, here we go. So then Donaldson asked what a turn up was, what turning up was. Turning up too much meant. That's what it is. What turning up too much meant, right? So he was like, partying too much or whatever. Thank you for the stickers, guys. Thank you for the super. What did you send? Thank you for the super sticker 7. I appreciate y'all. Y'all get them likes up while y'all in here, because I am giving y'all the hinty straight from the courtroom, hunty. All right. So they showed a text message from October 3rd of 2013, right? And in this text message, Cassie says that she was going to go ask Puff if she could go out, but she had been turning up too much lately. So Deonte was asked about the time that he saw Cassie with the black eye on FaceTime and in person. So let's go back to that for a second before I even jump into that part. So Donaldson was trying to say that Cassie was out there just getting high. That's what he was trying to insinuate that turn up meant, even though he had already been told what the hell turn up meant. That's the whole thing. Like, he was trying to like spin narratives up there, and I was watching it, and I'm just like, no. So now, Deonte was asked about the time with the black eye, right? And so he says that Cassie had a press week. Like, he said, Donaldson, that is, was like, well, she said, you say that she had this black eye, but nobody ever saw it. You never saw a video of it. Never seen it in the press. You never seen any pictures of it. And he was like, well, she had a press week that week, and we covered it with makeup. But while she was out working, if it started to fade, we would have to touch it up, right? So hold on, because here comes the guy with the music. Because when he be coming through, all the YouTubers be trying to get away from him, because that will get us in trouble. Okay, we can't have that in our videos. Anyway, so Donaldson was trying to act like the black eye never existed, but he debunked that, and he was just like, no, it was there. Not only did I see it on FaceTime, I saw it in person. All right. So then he goes on to show pictures from March of 2016, and Deonte says in the text thread that her face looked beat. So Donaldson is like, what does that mean? That her face looked beat? First of all, Donaldson, you a brother. You gonna tell me you don't know what your face beat means? So that's when Deonte was like, that means that her face looked good. So he asked her what she was doing, and Cassie was saying like, oh my God, this ninja is wasted. We did the same amount of everything, and he's tripping. So now Deonte is telling her to go to sleep, but this is a time that they are in the hotel, right? So Donaldson, now he takes this opportunity to jump in, and he's just like, oh, well, isn't she in a hotel? Like, it looks like she's in a hotel to me. And then Donaldson was just like, she says that she was with Diddy, but she didn't say that she didn't want to be in a hotel room that day. And Deonte is like, correct. She didn't say that day. Because he was just really trying to debunk the fact that she didn't want to be in hotels, that he's trying to make it seem like she always wanted to be in the hotels, but she wasn't. All right. So Diddy was upset and threatened to expose. The time that Diddy threatened to expose.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I see you over here. You came up from Baltimore today just to come out and hang out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How are you? So they went back to the time when Diddy was upset and threatened to expose the X tapes. So Diddy had told Cassie and Deonte to ride their broke asses into the sunset. So Deonte says, yeah, and we drove our broke asses into the sunset because they peeled out. But it was like, what was the purpose? It's a lot of this type of questioning that is going on in the courtroom where it never really leads to anything. But I think that he's trying to establish that Cassie was able to leave. Like, that's what I believe he was trying to establish with that one, that she was able to leave of her own free will. But was she really able to leave of her own free will? Because Diddy was telling her to basically kick rocks at that point in time. So anyway, 2008 to 2013 is when, okay, so when it came down to Cassie exposing to Deonte about her going into hotel rooms with Diddy and having freak offs, it was established that between the years of 2008 to 2013, Cassie never told Deonte about this. And Donaldson was really trying to like press upon that about, oh, well, that's your best friend. And she tells you everything, but she was keeping this major secret from you. Like, she was keeping secrets, just like her secret trip that she went on. She was keeping secrets. So Deonte was like, I kept secrets from her too. And my thing with that is, who is going to go running around telling somebody, hey, so my man likes for me to go and have freak offs and get slexed by another man while he beats his meat in the closet or in the corner in this case? Who says that? I wouldn't have told my best. Listen, there's been a lot of things that I have done that I have not shared with my best friends. You don't tell everything to everybody, okay? So now they say in 2013 was the first time that he had heard about her having X with other men. Okay. The fact of the matter is, he knew, right? She told him, right? End of discussion. Deontay was asked if Cassie told him about the videos being on her phone. So Deontay was like, I didn't say that. Like, I don't know about that. But then they showed him something from the government, and he was just very adamant that he didn't say that they were on his phone. But he said Diddy would record her on her phone and that the videos were on her phone. So now they ended up going back to Cassie's 29th birthday, which happened between the 2015, 2016, somewhere around there. And at this particular time, Diddy had gotten so smacked at her 29th birthday. And so they everybody was there, and the night started off in a restaurant. Now, this was supposed to be a surprise party for Cassie, okay? And Diddy was in Miami when this surprise party was being thrown. So he asked Deonte if it was going to be okay for him to come, and so he went. Now, Donaldson was like, well, why wouldn't you tell her that her boyfriend was coming? He was like, who wants to tell what the surprise is? Because the surprise was for Diddy to pop up at her birthday party, okay? So he overhears Diddy saying to Cassie, you can't do this one thing for me. You know what that one thing was. He was asking about a freak off. And Deontay had testified yesterday that Diddy had Cassie in the corner, was like putting his finger all in her face and all of that. So now Donaldson was trying to discredit him and trying to catch Deontay slipping in his story, but it did not happen at all. All right. That did not happen. Deontay stood 10 toes down on everything that he said. All right. So Deontay further went on to testify that Diddy's that so Donaldson was trying to say that he didn't tell the government about Diddy coming to the party. And that, again, Deontay just stressed, like, look, I told them as little as possible. I told them as little as possible over the phone. I was not telling them everything. If they didn't ask me about something, I didn't offer it. When he got up on that stand, and let me just say this, if you've ever been questioned to go testify in a court case, what happens is they ask you these questions to get you prepared. But then what ends up happening is when you get up on that stand, other questions happen. It's just like when you go in for an interview. I have a set base of questions that I'm going to be asking people when it comes down to how the interview is going to go, what questions they're going to know. But like I always tell them, based on how the audience is responding to things, based on where your answer might lead us. You may get a different question coming at you. So nothing is etched in stone that this is exactly how it's supposed to be. But again, you have to understand that the defense is trying to discredit the witnesses that come up there, trying to poke holes in the stories that they're telling, trying to make it seem like they didn't say things at this point in time before we got in here to court. Now you're saying it after court. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the type of energy. Hey, Blue Rock, that's the type of energy that they're coming with, because that's what the defense is supposed to do, right? So Deonte, now here's T, clock T. So when Cassie was getting prepared to come here for trial, Deonte helped her pick out her clothes, honey. Now remember, they had been besties from 2009 all the way until now. Deonte helped her pick out her clothes, and of course, Donaldson tried to flip that. He's like, "Oh, so you was talking to Cassie on the phone?" And he was like, "Yes, about everything except for the trial." "Oh, Cassie was doing such and such and such about everything but the trial." So he was like, "But you helped her pick out her clothes to come to trial." He said, "Yes." And he was like, "Oh, so you were styling her?" He was like, "No, it wasn't even like that. She's pregnant. She couldn't fit anything. So I had to find her clothes that fit her." So yeah. So now he also tried to make a big stink about the fact that Deonte had spoken to Cassie the day that she got off the stand. He spoke to her. And he was like, "Oh, well, right after you spoke to Cassie, that's when you came up with the story, right?" Incorrect. Incorrect. That was not correct information at all. He talked also about a trip that Cassie and Diddy went on in Vegas. Deonte was helping her back up. Donaldson brought up a time when Cassie was packing to leave to go somewhere, and Deonte was helping her pack her bags, and Cassie filled a duffel bag with X toys and $1,000 cash. Now, the reason why he brought this up is because he was trying to establish that Cassie was the one who was setting up these freak offs, not Diddy. But when he tried to say that, oh, Cassie put that money and packed that bag all on her own, he was like, "I can't say that. I don't know if that's true or not." But we also don't know what was going on either, because it was never established as to whether or not that bag was being packed for them to go to a freak off or where she went with this bag. It was never established. So to me, that was just a pointless question that ended up going nowhere. And we get a lot of pointless questions that go nowhere when it comes to the defense. They keep dropping the bag like that. They'll be asking a question and everybody will be sitting in there like, what? Like, what was the point of that? So they move on to go talk about a trip to Vegas for New Year's Eve that Cassie and Diddy went on. He said, "Didn't you?" All right. So Cassie, when they was in Vegas, Diddy had told Cassie that she would sleep all day, but he was able to get Cassie up. Now, during this New Year's Eve party, there was a photo that they showed of Cassie. She was sitting inside of the hotel room. She had a cute little green robe on and some slippers. And then there was the next picture that they showed of her, and it was her and Diddy walking out on the street. She was dressed. Clearly, she had already been styled. No tea, no shade, but she had already been styled, okay? And so when they returned back to the hotel room, Deonte testified that it was him, Cassie, Diddy, and a producer by the name of Holiday that were all hanging out in the room listening to music. Well, at some point in time, Cassie went over to Deonte and told him, like, "Listen, you guys got to get out of here because a guy is about to come over." In other words, a freak off was about to commence, all right? So she was telling Deonte and Holiday that they had to leave up out of the room. So they go out the room. Deonte says he goes to go pack up stuff, so he's not really paying attention to time. So Donaldson asked him, "Well, didn't you testify that you saw a man go into the room?" So he was like, "Yeah, I did. I saw a man go to their room knocking on their door." So Donaldson is like, "Okay, well, how long from the time you left the room to the time you saw the man knocking on the door? How long? How much time had passed by?" So Deonte was like, "Well, when I left the room, I just started working and I started packing up the bags for us to go. So I don't know. And those bags could take me anywhere. Could take me about 2 hours to pack. So anywhere between that time frame is when I saw him." Child, Deonte done testified to them going to a damn freak off at the party. But then, the conversation flipped and it came into play where they were asking about what kind of rugs was being taken. And Deonte said all of us was taking rugs. Him, Cassie, Diddy, and Holiday. Everybody. Everybody said Happy New Year's. Toodaloo. Sorry, y'all. Everybody getting high, but everybody ain't going to the freak out. You know what I'm saying? So, Um, he just testified a lot to some of the relationship things that were going on. And, the government did come back and was able to just get Deonte to clean up some of the stuff that the prosecution was trying, I mean, the defense was trying to get him tangled up in. It was a lot of talk about that 29th birthday, baby. Let me tell you, they must have been everything, and it must have went out with a bang, because here's the thing. No matter what they said, no matter what they did, in my eyes, it feels like you didn't accomplish anything. I feel like the defense is not doing a good job at defending. I don't feel like they're doing a good job at defending. I feel like, when it comes down to this defense team, I think that it is definitely something that is questionable, because why wouldn't y'all I don't know if it's questionable or not, but in that way. But all right, let me tell y'all what's going through my head when it comes down to thinking about the defense. When I think about the defense, what I hear and what I see is that they are doing what Diddy wants them to do. It feels like they're trying to go for character assassination when it comes down to these people who come up on the stand. One of the things that Donaldson also decided to like kind of harp on for a while was another thing that we were like, oh, move on, was the fact that he was emailing Diddy. Now, he emailed Diddy when Kimberly passed away. When Kim passed away, he sent him his condolences and was like checking on him. He texted him, was like, are you okay? Just checking on you, sending you love. When Andre Harrell passed away, he texted Diddy to check on him, to see how he was doing, asked him how he was. Then it was like other times, like he would just check in on him randomly. But Donaldson was like, if you were done working with him, why would you continue to text him, and why would you continue to check in on him? The thing is, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you check on somebody, especially knowing how close he and Kim were and how much Kim meant to him at that time and how close he was with Andre Harrell? So, of course, he was going to check on him. Now, Donaldson was like, during that time, he did not ask you about Cassie, did he? He said, no, he didn't ask me about Cassie, but there were text messages where Diddy was asking him about Cassie, even after Cassie had gotten with the trainer. Let's get into it. Because when Cassie got with the trainer, he had texted Deonte and was like, really? Really? The effing trainer? Really? And was like, F that. Just tell her if she needs anything that she could reach out to me. Is she okay? Just let me know if she's good. So even after she had moved on with her relationship, he was still asking about Cassie in some capacity. Okay. So Deonte kept I don't see where he did anything wrong with keeping up with what was going on. If somebody passes away, they were close with that person. A natural human thing is going to be to check on that person. So, but Donaldson was trying to turn that into something else. Then we get to Mia. Now, let me tell y'all about Mia, honey. Mia got up in there into the courtroom, and Mia had on a wig, honey. Now, I have to tell you, we were told by the judge, the direct instructions were that you cannot do any sketches of her. You could not write down any descriptions of her. But what you cannot do is you cannot take away the fact that we already visually saw her and the things that we heard when we were in court. So she comes in. She's a petite woman. She's a little older now. She probably wasn't that much older when she was working with Diddy. But she started testifying to the grueling types of environment that she was working for Diddy under. So now when she took the stand, she says she worked for another entertainer prior to this. She was once Mike Myers' personal assistant. Okay. So now she says when she started working for Diddy, she was underneath the impression that she was going to be working regular days. She wasn't going to be sitting up there working 24 hours a day. She said when she worked for Mike that it was said that she would work 24 hours. However, it wasn't a 24-hour day. She said that she would get off at a decent time and she would be able to go home. But when she started working for Diddy, she was working underneath a trial period. Okay. And during that trial period, the first day at work, she had to go out there to Jersey and she had to do a check of the house out there in Jersey. So she had to go through and take note of everything that needed to be taken, needed attention placed on them. So I'm assuming that what that means is that if there was any repairs that needed to be taken care of in the household, anything that needed to be fixed at that point in time, she was to document it and she was to come back and to report it. So she said when she did that, she started in the daytime. When she got done and it was nighttime, she reported back to Bad Boy. Then she left to go home. On her way home, she got a phone call from HR telling her to head to the studio. She headed to the studio and did not get off from work until 1 p.m. the next day. She went over there to Puff's house, made sure that he got settled. She was sitting with security. They were telling her what you have to do in order to like tune him down for the night, make sure that he's good before he goes to bed and what he's going to need when he wakes up. So she did all of that, got all of that, and went home. Now, they told her that she had a short window of time before she would probably be called back because he wasn't going to sleep long. So she said she was scared to go to sleep because she didn't want to miss, the phone call or get in trouble or lose her job on the first day. Like, who wants to lose their job on the first day? So she stayed awake. All right. This woman testified to working 5 days straight to the point where she was hallucinating. She was seeing things. She said she couldn't hear. She broke down crying. And it wasn't until she reached that state that Diddy told her that she could go home and go to sleep. Now, we don't know how long she went to sleep for. We don't know, if it was, okay, well, you would take the day off and go to sleep, or if it was just a couple of hours, because it was never specified how long she was able to go home and rest for. But the point of the matter is she went home to go rest only after being in extreme conditions. Now, they asked her how she was able to keep up with all of this. And she said at the time that she was on ADHD medication and that it was extended relief. And that when she took the medication, that it helped her to stay awake. But she was working basically almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, let me get over here. Now, Diddy. With Diddy, she was told that she would get days off when she first got hired, but that was not true. She said that she was going to be paid $55,000 a year. That was not true. She got paid $50K. She was told she was going to work 40-hour work weeks, but that was not true. She did a 2-week trial period. That was the whole time that she was under test to see if she was going to be a perfect fit. And after that, she hit the ground running, basically. Now, she had to learn his, like I said, she had to learn to settle him in. She was taking ADHD medications. It allowed her to stay awake. Okay, she had to, yeah, that's when she had the breakdown. All right, so boom, let's get to the next little page. This is, I'm telling y'all, I was in there just writing my little heart off. Mia's duties as an assistant, okay? She had to write this whole paper because at one point in time, Diddy tried to insult her, asking her or saying to her, like, in an angry manner, like, I guess she must have did something, and he was like, I don't even know what you do for the day. So Mia sat and wrote down everything that she did for the day as his assistant. One of the things that she did was all of Diddy's social media presence. She was in charge of making sure that his social media presence was good. She was his main liaison between Diddy and Hollywood. So anybody that was reaching out to him from Hollywood had to go through her in order to get to him. She also said that she was to protect Diddy at all times. Now, that was one of her duties that she said she had to do. Okay. This work was inhumane. I don't understand how she was able to do all of this. They moved from New York to Hollywood, okay? She testified that she was working 22 hours a day. Now, when they got to Hollywood, Mia first was living in a guest house, but then she later on was moved into the main house. And when Diddy moved from that house, he moved her right along with him. She was in the house with him. Now, the thing about her being in the house with him, there were other people that lived there, her, the chefs, the security. They were living there. Diddy had a thing about locked doors. Diddy said no locked doors. So she was not allowed to lock her doors. Diddy said that I don't allow locked doors in my house. And she said for her, that was just a reminder that it wasn't her house, that it was still his house. The only people that were allowed to lock their doors were security. And the security that was there with him was Uncle Paulie, D-Rock, Ruben, and Roger Bonds. They were there. And she said they had like deadbolts or key code door pads on their doors. They were the only ones that could have that. She also said that she was not allowed to go out at all. She could not go out and party. She could not go out and have time with her friends. She said one time when they had moved, she got in touch with some of her friends. Diddy had gone to sleep. She had already put him down for the night. Everything was all settled. She figured, hey, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to jump and see if I can go hang out with my friends for a little bit. Child, Diddy found out, and Diddy had security call her, telling her that they were coming to get her. And when she got back into the house, Diddy cussed her out. She could not leave the home. That is slavery, y'all. That is slavery. All right. Now she started going through the assistants, and Diddy was supposed to have normally 4 to 5 assistants, not just one. But when Mia started, it was just her and Malcolm because 3 prior assistants had already left. They weren't there no more. So it was just her and Malcolm, and then Malcolm left, and for a whole year it was just her. And at that time, Diddy was like, "It's okay, we're gonna get through it. We're gonna work through it." But even after she ended up getting a full staff of, he ended up getting a full staff of assistants. It didn't even care. He didn't even care because it was like everything that these assistants did, she got in trouble for. And I feel like it's because she was there the longest, so she became like the head of the personal assistants. So if they clocked out early or if they did something wrong, she got in trouble for all of that. And she would get punished. And she said her punishments would be being cursed out, humiliated, her intelligence insulted, and her job was threatened all the time. Okay. She did identify George Kaplan as being one of the assistants that was there while she was there. And Ryan Lopez is also an assistant as well. If you remember, Ryan Lopez was one of the aliases that Diddy was getting hotel rooms in. Do y'all remember that? Henny Glasses in the chat if y'all remember that, child. Because I remember that. I remember. You remember? I remember. Yup. She identified Eli Marone and Steve Shirley. Those were the assistants that was there around the time that she was there. She also got a promotion in 2013 to director of development for Revolt Films in 2013. So now that once she started moving over, once Diddy started moving into Revolt TV, he started doing something called Revolt Films. Now she was working with Diddy on this, so Diddy gave her that title. She said in the beginning she was working both jobs. She was being the director for Revolt Films and being Diddy's personal assistant. Crazy work, right? Now, she said at first she was supposed to get paid bonuses for every project that she did, but unfortunately, Mia didn't see any of them bonuses, child. She didn't see not one of them damn bonuses. It was all a lie. It was all a dream. And it wasn't even in Word Up magazine. And that's where I left off at, y'all. Now, let me tell y'all. Mia, she's giving up a lot of hot Henny, okay? She's giving up a lot of hot Henny. But Mia is very paced with the Henny that she is giving. She's very paced with what she's giving because she sits at the stand and she's always looking down and she talks one tone and it's it doesn't really go above this, and this is how she's talking and she's looking down and she might look up and say yes, and that's just how she is. Now I don't know if she was timid prior to, but she's sure enough timid now. That I will say. She's timid now. But they broke for lunch. Mia was on the stand. When we get back, Mia will still continue to be on the stand. And I'm not sure if she's going to be on the stand for the remainder of the afternoon or not. But Henny has some business that she has to go and tend to. So I may not stay the whole time. What is all of this noise? It's a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of stuff going on. Welcome to New York, y'all. I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I am most definitely going to go get myself something to eat. And that's something that I don't normally do. Oh my God, him and his damn music. I'm trying to get away from him. I'm trying to get away from him. We could actually get a good view when they come up out of here. We'll get a good little shot. We may not get them going into the van, you guys, but we could definitely get them coming out of the building.
No, at that time,
You got kicked
at
out.
that time,
You was a problem. They didn't want you about this stuff. The white people ate
do I work for transit?
What, huh?
Do I work for
I
transit?
don't think so, because if you had a job, you wouldn't be up out here.
I'm New York City. No, transit has money.
Why did you do that?
Excuse me. Excuse me, I'm trying to get away from that. Inside of this, how you doing?
And what did he say? What was that shit you was talking about? Oh, what did it say? When you were in my face before, let me ask you a question. You were gonna say, so what did he say?
We don't have a dog in that fight, guys. We don't have a dog in that fight, guys.
You stay in the building and work and do whatever politics wants inside. Lawyers never leave. Lawyers never leave. I work.
It is too much going on. It's too much going on. We're going to take a little walk over this way. We're going to stroll a little over this way because there's always something going on at the Diddy trial. Always something going on at the Diddy trial. But I definitely gave y'all my little 1-2-1-2 on everything that happened in court. Hold on. Did you already snipe that out of here? I don't know what was said. I didn't see it. No, I'm going to be honest with you. That lady was in one of the courtrooms and she was chatting a lot. She was talking. We were trying to hear. We couldn't hear nothing. Everybody was telling her like, shh. Even I was like, shh, because we couldn't hear. And this was the day that Capricorn was testifying. And it was during the time when she was having the emotional breakdown. Nobody could hear. Thank you for the stickers, you guys. You guys get those likes up. It's been a lot that has happened. What I will tell you is the mood in there, Diddy is back to, it looks like he's back to wearing his beige. I can't really tell. I will go and I will see if I can see on the camera what color he has on today, if it's mauve or if it's beige. But he does have a limited amount of clothing that he can have, that he can wear. So then there's that. Today, his sons are in the courtroom. His mother is back in the courtroom. I have not seen the daughters. You're welcome. Thank you for the super chat, Vanessa, or super sticker, Vanessa. Listen. The Diddy dressing like Mr. Rogers ain't gonna help him. I don't know. I don't know because honestly, like I'm saying to y'all, it could go either way. There are some people, let me tell you how this goes. Some people are here for the defense. Some people are here for the prosecution. And some people are gonna feel like the defense is doing their thing while other people are not. And I'm sorry, I just don't see how they're tearing down anything, because it's like, soon as they try, boom, here comes something else. So now I'm waiting to see what the defense's witnesses are going to do up on the stand. But like I told y'all, I don't think I'm going to be here much longer. I don't. The plan was to be here for the duration of the trial. I think I'm just going to come back towards the end and leave it at that. I miss my kids. Yes, I'm here with peanut butter, but I miss my kids. And then there's that. Any questions? I will gladly answer your questions. I promise it's not what y'all think. I'm gonna get me a New York slice of pizza, y'all. I'm hungry. When have y'all ever heard me say I was going to go get me some pizza? Look. Hello. Can I get a spicy pepperoni slice with extra cheese? This one. Yeah. Oh, they might get me for this music. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, you guys, that's going to do it for this. If you guys are following me on other social media platforms, feel free to come and follow me over there, because I am going to end this live a little bit early so that I can go and I can eat. But I think I'm going to jump on my TikToker and have lunch with you guys. So if you're following me on TikTok, I will be back live in about 5, okay? All right. Thank y'all for tapping in and tuning in. Be sure that y'all hit that Cash App as well. Thank you for all of the super chats, all of the likes, all of the support that you guys continue to give me. I will see y'all in the next video. Peace, everybody.